on, guys and gals? Zoran Rider is in, and welcome to the motovlog for today. So today I want to do a quick little motovlog on the way to work about what it means to wave at another rider and the types of people who don't do it. So I was taught when I learned how to ride that waving is a sign of respect. It's a sign of acknowledgement to other motorcyclists on the road, that you're part of a community, that you're part of a family, and that you show respect to that. That is your call. It's your duty. That is, remember to show that respect. But I've noticed a lot of people don't seem to feel that way. Like, for some people, it's just kind of a whatever thing, and that's I guess that's okay, but it just, I couldn't do that. So two people in particular, two groups in particular that I've noticed that don't like to do this are Harley riders and interstate riders. So we'll start with the first one. Harleys have always had the mentality, as a whole, not as individuals, that Harleys are the only bikes you should buy. And if you are not on a Harley, you are doing something wrong. And therefore, you're not as good as us, or we're better than you. That's just the vibe that I've gotten. And that seems a bit silly to me. But I can understand the mentality. I mean, I'm a Yemi fan. I have Yamahas, and I love my Yamahas. And I like to bag on the other sport bike brands or the other Japanese bike brands. I'm not a huge fan of the other guys. And it's just my personal preference. I've ridden and owned other brands, and I just didn't like them as much. I like my Yamahas. They serve me well. But I've never been to the point where I didn't want to talk to you or I thought you were worse because of your decision. I'd be willing to have a discussion with you about it, but that doesn't change my opinion of you as a person. It's just the motorcycle you like. And I think that's the defining line. So, Harley riders who don't want to wave at the other bikes because they're not Harleys or because they're sport bikes in general, think about what you're doing. You're being prejudiced on something that is entirely an opinion-based matter. And that seems really silly. I mean, if you're on the side of the road one day, is it going to matter to you then who stops? If I stop on my R1 to help you, are you going to tell me to go away? Because that's the message you're sending out as a community, is that we're better than you and we know it. And in that case, when shit hits the fan, you won't need our help, right? You got this covered? That's what I'm getting from all of this. The next group is interstate riders. People who are just riding down the interstate. And this one I'm not as sure about. Interstate riders, I feel like there might be more justifiable causes. Like, it's not just mentality, because it's all across the spectrum for me on the interstate. I wave on the interstate. I have no problem letting go with one hand when I'm riding and waving at somebody, even on the interstate. It's really not that big of a deal. Most of the time you're going faster than that on the normal roads anyway. But I think what happens on the interstate is that people are too zoned in and focused. Like, when I'm on the interstate, of course I'm watching the traffic around me going the same direction, because that's the most important. But even though it's a divided highway, I always watch the traffic going the other direction. That's just the way I was taught. You should always be aware of all the traffic around you. I watch the bridges, I watch the frontage roads, I watch the opposite travel direction, I watch all of it. Because you never know what's going to happen, and you never know when something that's caused over there is going to affect you in your current lane position. I get the feeling that lots of motorcyclists just focus on their direction of travel on the interstate. Where are the cars around me? And if that works for you, great. But to me, that's very dangerous. But that could be why they're not paying attention enough to see me waving and wave back. The other one, and this makes me more nervous, is that they're too afraid of letting go of their handlebars at highway speeds. You're sitting on a gigantic gyroscope here, alright? Let's just get that understood right now. The bike does not want to fall. This bike has no intentions of falling over on me. The only thing that's going to make it fall is gravity, if I reduce the momentum, or me, if I reduce my intelligence. So if you're afraid of putting all of your faith in one hand on the interstate, you need to realize it's not your hands that are doing the work. It's your body that's doing the work to keep the bike upright in adverse wind conditions, and it's physics that's keeping the bike upright because you're moving so fast. It's almost nothing to do with your hands. Your hands are really just there to keep the steering wheel from turning. But if your front tires were just locked and you just had a throttle on your foot, you'd probably be fine. So that's what I've noticed, and I want to know what you guys think. So leave a comment down below. You know, did I miss a group of people, or do you disagree with one of my assessments, or do you have any fun stories about somebody in particular who didn't wave back at you? Let me know. And don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll be trying to put out more videos, and tell me what you want to talk about in the next one. Thanks, guys. Zoran out.